Hello and welcome to Hbtv. My name is Jade Hickey and we're here today with our first guest of the show, Mayor Eric Skinner. Welcome, Mayor Skinner, and thank you for coming here today.
Thank you for having me as a guest on your show.
How have you enjoyed your position as mayor since September?
It's been pretty good. Of course, with any organization you have some ups and downs, and we have ups and downs as well, and it's a good position, being a part of council, the future, determining the future of our Britain, trying to set things in the right direction, trying to bring in the right things that keeps the entire community prospering is what we do. I've got some excellent councillors. They've all assumed roles and responsibilities, and it takes a big burden off of me. We have liaisons with recreation, our fire department, Sunny Cottage, Elliott premises. So far, so good, and these people that liaison with the committees, they meet with the committees. If there's a problem within the committee, they bring it back to the old body of council. So I don't have to be running to each and every committee and making sure everything's going right. People are in place, and everybody assumed the responsibility of it, and it's going great. More than pleased.
Harbour Britain has been built in the traditional fishery, and in recent years, agriculture has grown significantly and currently plays a major role in the economy of the town and the region. What are your thoughts on both the short and long term?
Short term, we got some people back working. We're not to the numbers we had with our traditional fishery. However, we've got a couple hundred people right now in our community working with the aquaculture. And in talking with government and the Minister of Fisheries and our MHA, we can see that number grow substantially in the next couple, 3 years. That's their hope, and that's our hope too as well. Our community should prosper a bit more with more people working, more money in the community. It helps the economy, of course. And in future, moving forward, there may be other players that are interested in coming in our community and actually doing what cooks are doing here now. And that would create a lot of employment, a lot of needed employment. Outside the fishery, we sometimes that the council has to get projects in order to top people up for the winter, get them through the winter months. We had to bring in these projects where people get on, they just get paid while they're on the projects. They don't actually get any stamps. They're not EI associated. However, we're lucky sometimes that we get some federal projects where we can actually get some money to stamp people up and carry them over on the unemployment, keep them in the unemployment system for an additional 3 years, which makes a big difference on trying to stamp somebody up in the future. And whether it's in aquaculture or doing work for the town, short-term jobs are good. Long-term jobs are great. Small towns, it's hard to create long-term sustainable jobs, but we give it our best effort, and I'm satisfied to date. We've only been in office for about 8 months, 9 months, so I'm satisfied to date of where we've been and where we're going, and with the help of council, we will keep moving this forward, and we'll keep pushing the aquaculture issue forward with the Minister of Fisheries, with the Premier. Every chance I get to meet with any of them, we certainly do. And, you know, we push our community's needs in their face. There's no back door with us. We're not beating around the bush. We go in, we tell them like it is. If they don't like us for that, that's great. But we tell them what we want for our community. And if you're in our community, we're telling you what we expect from you as a corporate enterprise in our community.
All right. We have all noticed quite an amount of work being done on municipal water and sewage over the past 2 to 3 months. Can you elaborate on what has already been done and what still remains?
Well, you can see there's a lot of construction around town. I've got lots of calls, people pissed off driving around. Sometimes, you know, like things got to slow down to move forward, and it causes an inconvenience for people. But for the most part, people are understanding. Basically, what we're doing right now is we're replacing some of our existing old water and sewer lines. Some of the stuff is in the ground for 30 plus years. And, you know, it's got a life expectancy of approximately 25, so we're trying to remove some of the old stuff. If we do a street now, we want to remove what's there, put new in, and if we can get another 30 plus years out of that, that'll take us a long way in the future. Paving, we don't want to do any real expensive amount of paving until we actually get what's in the ground replaced, because if we do our paving now, our money is gone in paving. If we get a leak next week on one of these old lines, we got to take all the pavement back up in order to repair the water line or the sewer line, whatever we got to break in. So, you know, it's putting good money too fast towards a job. We'd like to get the water and sewer done and then get some paving done. However, Once this job is done on Arbor Drive, we will be paving that. It's all new lines, so that will be paved. And while the contractor is here, we're going to try to fix most of our bad spots that we have in our community. That's our goal. Yeah. If we can financially do that, we certainly will. And we're working on that now and trying to get some money straightened away to get all these big potholes or these big dips in the road fixed for the people that live in our community and people that visit our community. In future, maybe in the next 5 to 8 years, most of the water and sewer in our community will be replaced with new lines. And like I said, it has a life expectancy of 20, 25 years, and we've gone probably 30, 35 years. So we're more than lucky that it's lasted as long as it has. But every day we find that we're having problems, and it costs us money to fix it. It'd be probably cheaper in the long run to go and replace it than to fix it. But right now, our council is not in no financial position to actually take on a big job like doing this entire community. You're talking millions of dollars. So we're doing it in phases. We're doing it in sections of our town. But if everybody bears with us, somewhere between the next 5 and 8 years, we should have completed the water and sewer and the paving in our community, throughout the entire community. That's our goal as a council.
Okay, thank you. We'll be right back with Mayor Skinner after this message from the CYN.
Hi, my name is Danielle Parrott. I'm the Information Outreach Coordinator for the Coast Bays region. I'm responsible for the promotion of programs and services offered through Human Resources, Labor and Employment, as well as providing assistance with resume writing, cover letters, as well as job search. The Harbor Breton Community Youth Network is now playing host to the Student Placement Center. This is a new initiative for a center, and I'm pleased to say that student summer employment for Harbor Breton for level 3 and post-secondary is well over 90%. Another component of the Student Placement Center is the Odd Job Squad. This is a group of youth who were unsuccessful in receiving summer employment and would like to earn some extra cash over the summer. On August 6th, the Odd Job Squad will be holding 2 amazing races during the festival, the Redhead Rocks Festival, one at 1 o'clock and the other at 6 o'clock. Prizes will be awarded to the vehicle returning to the start point with all their keys. There will be other events throughout the summer offered by the Odd Job Squad, including the car washes, mowing lawns, etc. Please come out and support the Odd Job Squad. All funds raised will go directly to the members of the group. For more information or to become a member of the Odd Job Squad, please feel free to call me at the CYN 885-3040. Thanks, and have a safe and happy summer.
Welcome back. We're here with Mayor Eric Skinner discussing issues about the town. We have all heard about personal experiences and complaints with respect to health care in recent months, probably even years. Examples include anything from wait times at the hospital to having to travel to Grand Falls or St. John's for more extensive medical treatment. What are your thoughts on all of this, and have the concerns been raised at a provincial level in an attempt to bring improved health care services to the region and the community?
Well, first of all, waiting for health care is a problem all over the island. Secondly, we have dealt with it. I am a member of the Joint Mayors of the Coast Bays, which is made up of mayors of all the communities that are in the Coast Bays. And just last month, the Joint Mayors met with the CEO of Central Health and our local administrator, Trina Snook, and Wendy Bungie. And basically, we outlined some of our concerns as mayors in the region, some of the services that we'd like to see in the region for the residents that live here. Just to elaborate a little more, a couple of the things that we looked at were like ultrasounds being performed there instead of them go all the way up to Grand Falls or Gander to get it done. We have several people in the region with the need of a dialysis machine, and we presented that quite well to her, and we're waiting for a response back from her, a written report. And I guess, like I said earlier, like, wait times at hospitals is nothing new. It's been going on for years, and I'm sure it'll continue in the future. Whether you're in Harbor Breton or you're in St. John's at the Health Science Complex, sometimes you may have to wait 5 and 6 hours. I've experienced waiting 6 hours with kidney stones in St. John's at the Health Science. So it's no different than going to the hospital in Harbor Breton. It's going to the hospital in St. John's. There is a certain amount of time that you're going to have to sit and wait. Emergencies come in. Same thing goes for a small hospital like we've got versus a big hospital. There are emergencies that come in. The doctor has to go and deal with the emergency. Then he'll get back to his clinic. Sometimes you sit there patiently, and sometimes you get a little frustrated when it's warm or whatever, but we are trying to move it forward. We do raise the issues every time we meet as joint mayors. And, you know, when the need arises, we have a direct line to the CEO in Central Health, and we'll be meeting on a regular basis to deal with these things, these types of things, and trying to find a better way to accommodate everybody that's there and to move us through the system a little faster.
Yeah. There have been several new homes constructed in recent years, which is a positive thing for this community. What are the town's plans for residential development years to come? Also, there is mention of some cottages. Can you elaborate on this?
Well, future development, as you can see down behind Mary Brown's, the LOL Lodge there's a new subdivision. In that subdivision, there's 11 or 12 housing lots, and there's room for 10 low-income units. The low-income units are going to be done by the town through the HBIC, which is the Arbour-Britton Investment Corporation, and they're basically looking after that project for the town. And in the same area, we've already have gotten 5 or 6 lots sold out of the subdivision, and we've got ways and means of getting beyond the houses that are directly behind Mary Brown's and possibly going out around the Beaver Pond or possibly heading towards the White Chasm Wheel. There's still some room for development, maybe enough for another 30 or 40 homes. So we do have that, and once that starts to fill up, which we hope it will in not too distant future, then we'll look for another place before that one's filled, and we'll develop that, and as that one fills up, we'll start into a new housing area. And that's basically the way we work. We move forward on a need basis. Like once this one starts to fill up probably 75 to 80% capacity, we'll move forward and start developing another one. But there's lots of room for development. There's lots of land for development, and we will be there when we need to be there.
Okay. We'll be right back with Mayor Skinner after this message from the CYN.
No one wants to stay indoors when the sun is out, but while you're outdoors, a little sun sense can protect you and your family. Take precautions between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. when the sun's rays are at their strongest, or any time of the day when the UV index is 3 or higher. Check the UV index before you go out. Cover your arms and legs. Choose clothing that is loose-fitting, tightly woven, and lightweight. Wear a wide-brimmed hat to protect your head, face, neck, and ears. Stay in the shade, under trees, an awning, or an umbrella. Wear sunglasses with UV protection to protect your eyes. Use sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher on exposed parts of your body. Apply it at least 20 minutes before going outside. Don't forget your ears and neck.
Municipal roads are always an issue, and financial resources are always an issue. Many roads are in need of upgrade, and some roads still don't have pavement. What are Council's plans in addressing this need?
Well, number one, I guess to do a road is very expensive. Like I explained to you earlier, in order to do the roads that are already paved, we need to put proper water and sewer lines in the ground. You know, like I said, if we put the pavement down, we got a water break, we got to tear it back up. We're no further in than we were with the road we have right now. Our goal, once again, is to replace the water and sewer. The pavement roads we're open to patch up this year. If the funding comes down, funding hasn't been announced yet, the projects haven't been announced by the provincial government and cost share programs. When that is announced, if there's money there, we will be paving. I won't specifically say where. Council knows where we're going to be paving, but once we have, don't want to raise any false hope, once we have definite confirmation from government that it's approved, we can announce it to the community. The dirt roads, you know, we have a priority list set up with council. I think it runs 5 years of today. So we're actually, right now, because of the way the funding is coming down, we're probably doing work, we'll be doing work this year that should have been done 2 years ago. But it's the allocation of funding that lets us do the work. Council can only contribute so much money, so we tend to wait for the bigger projects, which cost us less money for the same work. You know, we get a bigger portion from the provincial and federal government. So it makes the town can do a little bit more with its resources that we do have. I'm assuming with my council that our mandate is 3 more years. Whether all of council decides to run again or I decide to run again, that's not on my mind right now. I'll decide that when the time comes. But looking forward, in the next 5 to 8 years, I can see the entire community of Arbor Britain being repaved and curb and gutter in. That would be a vision that we would work towards in our term of office. If we decide not to run again, that will be left there for the next council that comes in to pick up and run with it. But we'll have this much done until we get there at the end of our term as a council.
Perfect. Having people working is key to the future and success of the town. Having small business grow and prosper is also critical. Are you satisfied with current employment levels in Harbor Britain? Is finding employment still a challenge for some? And if so, what is the town doing to make problems alleviate?
Well, number one is the town is not an employer. We are to our employees, our town clerk, our EDO, our superintendent, our out in field workers, and our in-office workers. Sometimes that the government will give a certain amount of money to the town and say, listen, you have these people that are going to follow the unemployment system, so here's some grant money to get this project done or that project done. We create a little bit of employment in that sense, but long-term employment by the council is not something that we dwell on. We tend to look at Coke Agriculture, your bigger businesses in the community, Cox's Retail and Trade, or Arbor Britain Retail and Trade. The hospital is a big employer, the school is a big employer. But as a council, we don't have, per se, a lot of full-time employees. We can, however, create some short-term jobs, but we don't have the ways and means of keeping these people on for full-time employment. And it's too bad that we don't, because we do run into some really good workers, but it just happens that when the project money runs out, we have to let them go because we can't sustain the expense of having them on our payroll.
Yeah. There is some talk in the community that the arena isn't doing good financially. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I can. The arena takes about somewhere between $90,000 and $95,000 a year to operate. That's from October to April or whenever the season ends there. Revenues have been down over the past number of years. The revenues coming in at the arena run between $20,000 and $25,000 a year, which leaves a shortfall somewhere between $70,000 and $75,000 a year. In recent years, recreation has really stepped in and picked up the tab for the town. But in the last little while, the revenue for the bingo is down. We had a good bingo here at one time. It was very profitable. Right now, the bingo is down. Somewhere between it's down approximately about 50%. So a lot of people got satellite TV and stuff. They don't actually play the bingo anymore. So the town has to make arrangements in its 2011 budget to financially support the arena. So if we're looking at $90,000 to $95,000 a year to operate this facility, the general revenue that comes in through the doors when it's all tallied together is approximately $20,000 to $25,000. We find ourselves $70,000 short. Recreation has been doing well with picking up the other debt, but it's to a point now where the town has to step in and make this a viable operation. If that means that the town has to put in $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year in its budget every year to operate that arena, we have to do that. Or the only other option is you close down the arena. Our goal as a council is to keep the arena running. But at the same time, we don't want to go back to the taxpayers looking for the money to operate the arena. The arena right now is probably being used by somewhere between 80 and 100 people. And I understand that those 80 and 100 people enjoy that arena. Yeah. But somewhere along the way, we have to raise the funds, whether it comes through our town taxes, if it comes through the general revenue that comes through the arena. The bottom line is the arena is suffering a sort of a financial setback because the bingos have dropped off. We have functions at the arena that don't get supported by our community. I go to numerous events in the Coastal Bays region. I very seldom don't run into a crowd or 2 or 3 from Harbor Britain, but when we have the events here in Harbor Britain, they don't feel that they want to support it, or they just decide that they want to go to town and support the other town. That's fine, but the bottom line is that doesn't help us to eliminate the debt at the arena. We own the arena. We just need money enough to basically operate the arena. We got 3 years left. My goal is to keep the arena open. My goal with my council is to keep the arena open as long as we're in office. That's our goal. You know, we do have to put aside some money. We may have to cut back somewhere else. But our goal is to keep the arena open. If a new council comes in and says, listen, this is not a viable operation, they want to close it, that will be on their council's hands. But my council and my preference will be that we keep the arena open. We battle through this. Hopefully, the Bengals will pick up. The participation in the events that we hold at the arena will pick up, and there'll be some more revenue coming in. And somewhere along the way, you know, council can be left with a small dip load that we can pay off each and every year if we budget for it. But we can't be coming up with $70,000 a year just to operate the arena. We, as a town, do not have it. If you look at our roads, you look at our curb and gutter, you know, we need money to get our town back in shape first. Yeah. I've realized the arena is very important. I've got friends that use it on a constant basis, but not enough of them. So if there's anything anybody can do, if there's a function you can have at the arena, if there's something you can do, a good fundraiser, you know, come step forward. If you want to help out, if you want to volunteer when we're having functions, get in contact with Recreation. We had the Rated Rocks coming up. I appreciate all the help that anybody in the community want to give to us. You know, we need the full input of our community to make our community work. If we only got half of it, it's going to work half. If we got all of them, it's going to work full. And that's what we need to see in a place like Arbor Breton.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Skinner, for discussing some issues about the town. And good evening, everyone. And thanks for watching Hbtv.
Dating violence is violence that can happen on a first date or with a regular partner at any time. It often occurs when a partner is jealous, has been drinking, or forces you to go further sexually, even when you say no.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jackman. I would like to welcome you to Harbor Breton and Hbtv. Where is our traditional fishery headed?
All right, thank you very much. Before we get into the questions, I'll just say to you that I'm very pleased to be here. We, under a resettlement program, a lot of the people that came from the community that I was born in moved to two areas, Marystown and here. We were one of the families that moved to Marystown, so whenever I come back here, it's almost like coming back to a place where some of your roots are. And when I drive down towards the Hermitage Road, it's always like going back home. I was 14 when I left there, so it's reminiscing in a number of ways. Our traditional fishery, I believe, that is headed for stronger times. There's going to be a process that's will be gone through, which will see some changes coming about. I think the easiest way to describe it is that we've got too many boats, oftentimes chasing too many fish, and all the species. I mean, if you look at the fishery now compared to where it was, let's say, 30 years ago, the once dominant fish was cod. The more dominant fish right now is crab. So you've seen a kind of an ecological change, which has happened due, I think, in large part to the manner in which we fished. We used large draggers, and we diminished the stocks to a point where we've got to make sure that they're rebuilt. But clearly, what's got to happen is that for people to survive in this fishery, they have to have quotas enough that can provide them with a reasonable living. The other sector to it is that the people that work in the plants. In the traditional fishery, the plant was at one point an employer that paid some of the better wages in a community. We have too many plant workers now whose average annual income is around $12,000, and that's simply not acceptable. Therefore, we've got to have changes in the fishery. But I do believe that now the way stocks are being managed, we won't overfish some of these stocks anymore. So the way that they're being managed means that the wild fishery in the future will be there. It will be stronger. There may be less people into it, but those that are involved in it will make a better living from it.
Okay. Our fisher people are currently faced with a number of challenges, including quota cuts, low prices for products, and etc. For example, we have boats valued at $250,000 currently tied to the wharf, unable to fish because it is not feasible. A plant just closed down in Hermitage. People within our region are generally concerned. Do you think our fishery is headed for a total collapse?
No, I don't. When you see people who invest in those types of vessels, they did so when there was a certain quota and a price that was sometimes quite high. And then when you see a decrease, of course, they face the challenge of meeting all the payments, the maintenance, the insurance. So what we've got to do is to attempt to get the resource whereby the price that's set is, you try and keep it a level keel as you can, and you can't always do that because market conditions will dictate what prices are going to be. But you attempt to keep it within a range whereby people can plan, and they can be pretty well assured that we're going to make this amount. For some of the smaller boats, the inshore boats, and I know that some people are worried that the small inshore boat will diminish. And that they're attempting to get larger companies and larger boats and will do away with the inshore fishery. And I don't believe that. But the way to sustain the 3411 is that they've got to have enough quota that they can make a good living out of it. So I go back to my point where we may have less people in it, but those that remain, if they can get that quota, or a double quota, let's say, then that'll sustain them and provide them with a reasonable, good living.
Okay. I understand that you are here today for a meeting with the TIM. Can you give us an overview on what the meeting will be about?
Yeah. I started yesterday evening. I was in St. Albans. I'll be meeting with your town now, as a matter of fact, within the next half an hour, your town council. I'll be going to Hermitage to meet with councillors and some plant workers in Hermitage and Seal Cove. Around the entire issue of the aquaculture industry in this Coast of Bays region. This is a positive news story within the province. The potential that's going to come from aquaculture in this area is, over the next number of years, is going to be tremendous. We're looking at the people the companies that are involved possibly doubling their production. Now, doubling their production in the Coast of Bays region means that there's going to be the provision of more jobs directly in the plants and people on the farms, but it's also going to mean that there's going to be spin-off. There's going to be additional work that's related to that, and we're going to need a fair number of people working at it. It's really interesting that I spoke to somebody in St. Albans, with the work that's on the go up there, everything is a buzz. And that in some places, they're having problems getting workers. So, while that may seem to be a problem, it's a good problem to have because it just shows you that the economics of the area are very positive. Now, in the case of Harbour Breton, what I'm here to speak to them about as well is if there's going to be further expansion of the industry within the town of Harbour Breton, there has to be a plan. You can't haphazardly say that, cooks are going to do this and we'll plop it here, and you don't know what's on the heels of it. So there's got to be a good plan mapped out. But, from somebody on the outside coming into the community and looking at it, it's a good news story for this area. It's going to, I think that the aquaculture industry and the wild fishery can operate side by side, and it's going to provide a good future for this community and the communities that are in the region. And there's if you're going to have development, there will always be challenges that you will face, and there's two ways to look at that from my books. You either accept the challenge as a problem, and it stalls you, or you accept the challenge and say, we've got to solve this because in the end, it's going to be better for the entire community. And that's what the types of things that I'll be saying to the council.
Okay, perfect. Are there any prospects of a new aquaculture plant for Harbour Breton or the Coast of Bays region?
Yes, there is. You're going to, like I said just a few minutes ago, you're going to see a doubling of the number of fish that are going to be put in the water. That means there's going to have to be increased production. So, you know, whether that comes to be an expansion on a present facility, whether that be a building of a new plant, but there's definitely going to be more work in this area related to the aquaculture. And you know, it's long been known that the Coast Bays region head and shoulders above anywhere else in the province related to aquaculture, especially not so much in mussel farming, but in terms of salmon, trout, and the experimental work that they have on the go with cod, and there's some char production happening here. So now what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that the area is ready for it and that they plan for it. But there's definitely going to be additional work that's going to be coming to the area because of the aquaculture growth.
All right. I'd like to thank you, Minister Jackman, for taking the time out of your busy schedule and speaking with us here today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. This has the potential to be extremely good news for this area, and I think probably you'll see me back here a few more times yet.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Are you optimistic about the future of the aquaculture industry in the region?
Sure I am. It's creating a lot of employment for a lot of people in our community and in the region, as well as bringing a lot of people home from away that have been away working for the last 3 or 4 years. So hopefully it'll help the region grow.
Because with the fish plant and everything, all the salmon around, it really looks great for now. And agriculture, yes, it's a good thing.
Okay, yes, I think the agriculture would be good for everybody.
Yes, I'm certainly optimistic about the aquaculture industry in our area. If it wasn't for aquaculture, I think our economy would be pretty dismal at this time.
So small, your bar is something I'm not used to. But I gave up my home to see you satisfied. And I got to let you know where I'll be living. It's not much, but I feel welcome. I've got swinging doors, a jukebox, and a bar stool. And my new home's got a flashing neon sign. Stop by and see me anytime you want to. 'Cause I'm always your hat on till closing time. I've got everything I need to drive me crazy. I've got everything it takes to lose my mind. And in the atmosphere just right for heartache. Thanks to you, I'm always here till closing time. I've got swinging doors, a jukebox, and a bar stool. And my new home's got a flashing neon sign. Stop by and see me anytime you want to. 'Cause I'm always here store. And my new home's got a fashion neon sign. Stop by and see me anytime you want to, 'cause I'm always head on till closing time. Thanks to you, I'm always there till closing time. This old smoke-filled bar is something I'm not used to, but I gave up my home to see you satisfied. And I got to let you know where I'll be living. It's not much, but I feel welcome here inside. I've got swinging doors, a jukebox, and a bar stool. And my new home's got a flashing neon sign. Stop by and see me anytime you want to, 'cause I'm always your hat on till closing time. I've got everything I need to drive me crazy. I've got everything it takes to lose my mind. And in here the atmosphere's just right for heartache. Thanks to you, I'm always there till closing time. I've got swinging doors, a jukebox, and a bar stool. And my new home's got a fashion neon sign. Stop by and see me anytime you want to, 'cause I'm always your head on till closing time. I've got swinging doors, jukebox, and a bar stool. And my new home's got a fashion neon sign.